അതും പറ്റില്ല. എന്നിട്ട് 30-ാം തീയതി ലീവാ?
But friends also here only. This page only. One. Where are they? Friends. What are friends here? What is your friend? I have one. But she's in a different class. Now you're first year. Where is she stay? Here and one is here.
Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Just give me a moment. Let me adjust the desktop. Yeah, okay. So, yes. Now, in the last class, we were discussing about form and content. Okay. Do you remember?
But there is a gatekeeper.
Form and content. What is form? Some of you said that form is the structure, the shape, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you recall?
Yeah, I checked, but I didn't like it. The room was very small.
Yes, students, form. Some of you had answered in the chat box that form is the structure or shape. Okay? So, form, if a form is a structure or shape, then it's any object can have a form. okay, a shape. And if an object has a form or a shape, then it will certainly have some content, some material with what it is made, isn't it? So that will be content. Okay, fine. Do you understand? Yes? What is form? A form is a shape or a structure, and content, the material with what it is made. Okay? So if there is no content, then there will be no form. Okay? If there is no content, there will be no form. And there couldn't be any form without any content. So form and content both help each other. Both are necessary in the production of any object, in the production of any art. Okay? If I say that a painting has a form, okay? If I say that a painting has a form, then that painting will be considered as something having a content. Okay, what is the content of that painting? Maybe a landscape painting. Okay, maybe it is a landscape painting. And that painting portrays maybe hills and clouds, some beautiful flowers, a little stream, okay? Maybe a tree, and beneath the tree, a little boy or a little girl sitting and writing something, okay? So if such a painting is considered art, okay, so that painting has a form. The form of the painting will be a romantic painting, a countryside painting, a landscape painting, okay? And the content will be the colors, the figures that has been painted, okay, fine. So similarly in films, what we have in films also, we have form and content, okay, form and content in films as well. So okay, so you know, for instance, if I say that it is an action film, so an action film, why, how can I label a film as an action film, a horror film? Okay, how can I label a film in a particular genre? Okay, so I can do that by looking at the content of the film. Okay, what is the content? So if the content is gothic, horror, haunting, so I can label that film as horror film, okay? Looking at the content, I can talk about its form, about its structure, okay? How it is shaped. So in a horror film, you have seen that sometimes the narration goes back to the past and then comes back to the present, and also may go back or may move forward to the future, not go back, move forward to the future. So that is also again the narrative structure. So the narrative structure, the content of a film determines its form, its structure, its shape, how the film is made. Is it moves back and forth, or is it progresses in a linear way? Is it progresses in a linear way, in a chronological order, in a sequential order? Okay, if the events jump back and forth in time, or the events, progressing in a chronological order, in a sequential order, what kind of narration the film has? So narration is also, the type of narration is also a part of content. Okay, Is it a first person narration? First person is I, you, me, okay? Or is it a second person narration? Or a third person narration? They, them, okay? Who is narrating the film? A character is narrating the film, or the director has narrated the film, or someone outside the film, an anonymous voice, an anonymous person, okay, has narrated. So who is in charge of narration? How the film is narrated? That is content. Okay, the narrative content determines the form of a film. What kind of narration is it? Okay, so therefore there are different genres of film. Okay, and those films, like maybe Holocaust films, maybe ski-fi films. So ski-fi films content will be entirely different from Holocaust films. Okay, Holocaust films means the films that portray the war or the animosity of the Nazis against the Jews. Okay, so historic films will have a different content. Okay, so form and content. If there is no content, there will be no form. Okay, and to have a form, you need a content. So form and content mutually nurture each other. Okay, the kind of content nourishes the form. Fine. And now I will share my screen. Yes, you can see. I will bolden it a bit for yeah. Form or content. Form and content, okay? So form and content in film studies are seen as inextricably linked. It is very much linked, it is tied together. Why? Because you must have seen that how a kalash or how a jar or how any object is made. Okay, so you also know how a picture, okay, how a picture is made. Okay, so we need the artist needs some material to create an artwork. Any artist, be it a song, be it music, any artist needs material. If you are writing a song or if you are listening to a song, the lyrics of the song, the words of the song, the tune of the song are the content. And the words, the tune, they give a structure, a shape to the song. That shape is not visibly prominent, okay? That you cannot see that shape or structure of an artwork with your naked eyes. You can only feel the form. Okay, so content and form are inextricably linked. The form of a film emerges out of the content, and the content is created by the formal elements of the film. So there are many formal elements of the film, right? The kind of direction, the kind of dialogues, delivery of dialogue, sequence of events, where it is shot, the background, the location, okay? So all these formal elements are the content and the kind of narration, and these contents, when they all work together, they unite. When all these contents unite or collaborate together, they bring out the form, okay? Thus, the contents of a character's memories are given form through the use of a series of flashbacks Okay, so how the film has been structured? Is it going? Is it moving forward? Is it moving backwards? Okay, fine. So even a character's memories, okay, even a character's memories can be considered as content because the character's memories are a part of the film's narration, okay, because the characters memories are part of the film's narration. So when the memories form a content, when the memories are part of the content, and because they are part of narration, they will bring out a form, a shape. They will give a shape to the film, a structure to the film, how the film is progressing, what kind of film it is. Okay? Next, I will increase its font. Yeah. Film form guides the spectator's expectations. Thus, if the content is about a triangular love relationship, the film form will follow the classic narrative plot structure of order, disorder, order restored. Shots will frame the threesome in different readable ways to show who in the end will have to go. So film form guides the spectator's expectations. So see, students, as the content progresses, you will have certain expectations. Some thriller films are predictable. Some thriller films are not predictable. Romantic comedies are quite predictable. Okay, what's going to happen in the end? But still, sometimes we love to watch those cliched romantic films, okay, because it fulfills our expectations. Now sometimes we have this mood that let's watch a thriller film, a psychological thriller, which will have a lot of twists and turns and unexpected outcome. Okay, have you watched Inception? Anyone? Inception? Okay, Leanne. Okay, anyone else who has watched Inception? Divya, yes, very good. Okay. Catherine, okay. Anita, no, not Anita, Andrew, okay. Abdul, okay, Arjun, yes. So now in Inception, what happens? When you at first watch the film, it was beyond your expectations. Okay, nothing was happening according to your expectations. There was so much of twists and turns, so much of mystery, so much of unpredictability. Why is it so? Because of the narration, because of the script. So that narration, that script is content. Okay? And the progression of the film, the structure of the film is the form. Okay, so Inception's form is very, very chaotic. Okay, very, very chaotic. You can't expect what's going to happen. But there are certain films which are highly, relatable, or maybe they fulfill your expectations. So the content carves out the form of the film, and thereby film form guides the spectator's expectations. Sometimes it may happen in the contrary. Sometimes because of the narration, because of the content, for films like Inception, Okay, so at that, for such films, the film form will not be guiding your expectations. Rather, they will be puzzling you more. Okay. Thus, if the content is about a triangular love relationship, so this is a very cliched content, isn't it? Very cliched content, triangular love relationship. The film form will follow the classic narrative plot structure of order. There was order, then somehow there was disorder. Maybe in a romantic film, in a Bollywood romantic film, what happens? Heroine's father did not agree of the match. The heroine's father became a villain. Okay, he became the antagonist. Okay, then suddenly again, after the climax, there will be order restored. The heroine's father, family members, they agree of the match, or maybe there was an antagonist who is removed from the way, so order restored. Okay. Shots will frame the threesome in different readable ways to show who in the end will have to go. So which character will be eliminated? Which character will be eliminated is quite predictable sometimes because of the content and form of the film. Okay, fine. Do you understand what is form and content, students, or shall I keep talking about form and content? Is it clear to you all? So I will progress towards the part of narration. Okay. I will make it bold. Yeah. So what is a narration? So narration is part of the content, or content is narration. Okay. Narrative involves the recounting of real or fictitious events. Okay. Narrative cinema's function is storytelling, not description, which is supposedly a part function of the documentary. Narrative refers to the strategies, codes, and conventions, including mise-en-scene and lighting employed to organize a story. So narrative cinema's function is storytelling, not description. Okay, it shouldn't describe something, it should tell the story through events. Okay, so always remember, narration is not description, narrative. Okay, narrative is not description, rather it is storytelling through events. Narration is something else, narrative is another thing. Okay, narrative of the film functions through storytelling or through acting, through events. Okay, and narrative refers to the strategies, codes, and conventions. So how the story will be told. Okay, following the codes and conventions, when the director determines that, or when the script writer determines that this is how the story will be told, this is how the events will progress. Okay, so they will be following certain codes, certain codes of cinema. Okay, codes of cinema, conventions of cinema. Okay, fine. Then next. Primarily, narrative cinema is one that uses these strategies as a means of reproducing the real world, one which is the one which the spectator can either identify with or consider to be within the realms of possibility. So narrative cinema uses some strategies, okay, to reproduce the real world. It will look like a real world. Okay, why films impact in our memories so much? Because it makes us think about the real world. Okay, it makes events very relatable. We can easily identify with the events. Okay, so when we watch a tragedy, okay, why does it haunt us so much? Why does it touch it so much? In spite, if you compare that, you know, you watched a romantic film, okay, it will touch you, but sometimes, you know, the spectacle of a tragedy is far more, touching than a romantic film. It impacts you heavily because you know, we are shocked, we are perplexed to see the tragic events, and we assume that it could be a possibility too. Tragedies or scientific movies, okay, maybe say, name some ski films, students, some ski films. What was the name of the film? Sandra Bullock was there. Related to outer space. I can't exactly remember the name. Can you remember? Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock was there and related to the outer space. Gravity, yes, Interstellar and Gravity. Very good. Yes, yes, yes. So both Interstellar and Gravity. Okay. So when we watch those films, you know, sometimes we have felt that, you know, this is also possible. What if it happens? So there is a haunt, there is a feeling of haunt, there is a feeling of shock. That's why, you know, tragedies impact us far more, or maybe those films which offer a possibility of another kind of a world, another kind of reality that may happen to us, another kind of reality that may happen to us. Okay, so narrative cinema uses these strategies, okay, that they will conspire, they will frame the plot, the narration in such a way that the audiences, who are the audiences? You and I, okay, those who watch the film, the audiences find it very much relatable with their lives, okay. Even science fiction films have a narrative with which the spectator can identify. Yes, okay. In mainstream cinema, it is traditionally the male who is the prime motivator of the narrative. So in mainstream cinema, what happens? The protagonist is always male, okay? Male-centric films. So it is such films, we are still talking about narrative, okay? What is a narrative? So in mainstream cinema, it is traditionally the male who is the prime motivator of the narrative. Prime motivator means the character who mainly operates in the film, who gets a major place in the films. Salman Khan films, he is always the prime motivator of the narrative. His actions, his choices, okay, the male-led films, his choices, his actions will determine the narrative, okay, the content of the film. His actions, okay, it is his actions that set the narrative in motion, okay. However, female characters can also act as prime motivators of the narrative, even though they mostly remain as object. So there is, in the film studies, there is a lot of debate about the objectification of women in films. Okay, the songs, the kind of songs, the kind of dances, the kind of dresses women are given to, okay, and the kind of treatment they get as accessories of the film. They are as good as accessories, okay, just to attract customers, as if, okay, audiences are the customers. So just to attract the audiences, the male audiences, who will now see male-led, or where a film, a film where the main prime motivator is a male, the prime character is a male, that film will certainly have more and more male audiences. Certainly have more and more male audiences. So for those kind of audiences, women are objectified and portrayed as a mere accessory, okay? But there are certain films where women can take as a lead role, as a prime motivator also, or can share an equal space in the film. Both the male protagonist and the female protagonist, they can share equal space. Kill Bill, Aaron is saying, okay, yes. So most of the, Bollywood films that has traditional actors, for me, traditional actors are like Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan, Akshay Kumar, okay? Even that film, I think Ranveer Singh, then Akshay Kumar, and one more actor was there, then Katrina Kaif was there. So there was a lot of debate that why Akshay Kumar and Ranveer Singh, it was really, I didn't watch the film, so I just remember the poster. So all the three male actors, they were holding guns, okay? All the three male actors, they were holding guns, and behind them, there was Katrina Kaif. Okay, so there was a lot of discussion in film studies that why Katrina Kaif was not given a gun, why she is standing behind them, why all the three men are carrying guns and appearing fierce, as if strength and machism and masculinity is power. Okay, Suryavanshi, yes, very good, Hansela. Yes, Suryavanshi, right. Okay, so anyways, so there is a lot of debate in film studies about women being operators as mere objects, okay? Yeah, so in narrative, there could be repetition, variation, or opposition. Repetition, okay? Films like Suryavanshi, then Salman Khan films, all these repeat the same kind, same structure. There will be order, there will be disorder, then suddenly the order will be restored. Okay, repetition of the same narrative structure. There could be variations. There could be variations like, I really enjoyed watching Andhadhun. Okay, I really enjoyed watching Andhadhun, then Stree, then some, unexpected films are still made in Bollywood nowadays. So there could be variation or there could be opposition. So it's a convention of cinema. Okay, it is sometimes a cinematic convention. Convention means the things that are being practiced since long, since age. The conventions are like age-old traditions and customs that are continuing, and no one is opposing them, no one is challenging them. So there could be films challenging those social conventions. Okay, so in narrative structure of a film, there could be repetition, there could be variation, there could be opposition. Okay, fine. Students, any doubts so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Another important thing I wanted to ask you, can you access the LMS for film and fiction?
Ma'am, but there's no notes in that.
Are
No,
you added?
ma'am, we can see the folder, but there are no notes uploaded in it.
Okay, so you can open, you can log in, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine, fine. All right. I will upload the notes. So I just wanted to check whether you are added or not. Okay, I will upload it in by this weekend, okay? Okay, so shall I go to ideology? Ideology is very heavy. So I will not go to ideology. Let me stop here and we will keep discussing some films that have variation and opposition. So let's discuss Maleficent because it's there in your syllabus and most of you have watched it. So see, Maleficent offers a little bit of repetition. Okay, Maleficent offers a little bit of repetition and the repetition of that curse. Okay, so the narrative, if I ask you what is the narrative structure or discuss the narrative structure or comment, write about the narrative structure of Maleficent, okay, you may say that there is some repetition, okay, there is repetitive narrative structure because of the repetition of the curse, variation. There was a lot of variation in the film. What were those variations, students? If I ask you what were the variations in Maleficent, variations in terms of or in comparison to the original story, the story, the fairy tale that was that was the conventional fairy tale. The conventional fairy tale. Conventional means things that don't change, that continue as a custom within the society through a series of years, through a sequence of years. Okay, so that is a convention. Social convention, for example, women have to leave their father's house after they marry. Okay, this is a social convention. Or women, nowadays, women, all of us, okay, be it men or women, we all leave our father's houses to study abroad or to study somewhere else, okay. Most of us leave our parents' house because of our education. But you must have noticed that, if sometimes if a man is working somewhere, the woman who is married to that man has to go to his husband's place where he is working. The woman is supposed to, this is a social convention, the woman is supposed to be with her husband. Okay, this is a social convention. So similarly, okay, there were variations in terms of conventions. There were variations in terms of the earlier notion of the fairy tale. Maleficent, what are the variations in Maleficent? It is debunking. Debunking means it is going against, going away, debunking the conventional narrative structure of the fairy tale. Okay, this is the answer by Leanne. The witch Maleficent ends up being Aurora's true love. Yes, as she did know her, care for her, and love her the most. Yes, this was a very good example from Maleficent. Okay, then opposition. Okay, this is also variation leads to opposition. So Leanne's answer okay, for Maleficent can also be regarded as an opposition. Okay, the conventional fairy tale of Sleeping Beauty showed that, you know, a male prince, okay, a male figure, a prince, a male figure will come and give her a kiss, that is true love's kiss, and will wake up. Okay, and there is a contrast in the film. This is not shown. The fairy godmother becomes the princess's true love. Okay, the witch Maleficent becomes true love. And also, students, you know, this is a convention to think that, you know, your lover or your husband is the true love of your life. Okay, even if you apply it in your own life, you are too young now, but after you grow up, when you will keep growing up, you will attain a certain age, you will become 25 or 30 or maybe 40. Okay, you will realize that, you know, these things, okay, sometimes we seek love from outside. We consider our boyfriend or our husband or our lovers or girlfriends, okay, as true love. But sometimes it is your mother or your father who is actually the true love of your life, because no one can love the way a mother or a father loves. And also, the film shows that it is not necessary that you have to be a biological parent to love a child or to feel motherly. Okay, it is not needed that someone has to have a biological relation with his or her child. Nowadays in our society, we get to see that many, you know, single men, they are adopting single children, girl children, female children, male children. Okay. Recently, I saw a news, a post about a Pune man who is a single parent to a autistic girl child. Okay, so there is variation from the social convention, isn't it? So in real life, we have those conventions, and what if in real life we have those events, and what if you know, a film is made on that Pune man, okay, with some more imagination, with some more characters, and that will be very much relatable. Okay, so narrative structures of films will have repetition, variation, okay, or opposition. So now repetition, variation, and opposition, even if it is a film adaptation, Maleficent is a film adaptation, there could be repetition, variation, and opposition, or a film that portrays real events, okay, that portrays real events. So that could be, you know, that such films can have also repetition, variation, opposition. If you ever get time, you can watch the film V for Vendetta. Okay, V for Vendetta, you can watch, and you will notice. You will notice that it's a historical film. It is based on history, but yet it has some repetition, some variation, some opposition, and V for Vendetta is not based on any novel. Okay, but still it has some variation and opposition. The war between the Spider-Man and the Dark Knight, isn't it? There was a film, right, on the confrontation between Spider-Man and the Dark Knight, isn't it? So it was adapted from a comic genre, a comic book. There were certain repetitive elements, there were variations, and there were oppositions. And variations lead to oppositions, okay? Fine. Ma'am, I think it is Superman and Batman. Yeah, right. Not Spider-Man. Yes. Superman and Batman. Yes. True. Yeah. Okay, so I will stop sharing now. Yeah, form and content. I hope this is clear to you, students, because questions will be asked in your midterm exam. Okay, form and content. I will upload the notes within this weekend. Okay, fine. Form and content. What is a form? What is a content? Let alone be form. What is a content? What is the content? What could be the content of films? Give me some examples. What are the different contents of a film? The film's formal elements. All the formal elements of films are content of the film. All the formal elements, the things that are required to make a film. The director, the actors, the producer, the cameras, the script, these all are content of the film. The script will tell what is the narrative structure. That is also content. Okay? And these formal elements unite. When they unite all together, they give a structure, they give a shape to the film. Okay? And that shape determines whether it will be a horror film, a comic film, a romantic film, a ski-fi, a psychological thriller. What kind of film? Okay? Fine? Do you understand the relation? So form and content are inextricably linked. They run parallel. They run parallel to each other. Okay? If I delete the content, there will be no form of the film. To have a form of the film, to have a film, okay, we need content. You must have seen how how a picture is made. A lot of soil is given, a special kind of soil, not just any kind of soil, clay, a kind of clay is given, okay? So as the, artist, I will call, as the artist, or the craftsman keeps on adding clay to a particular machine, okay? The picture takes a shape, isn't it? So that shape is the form of that picture and the content is the clay. Okay, got it? So a film is just like a picture of clay. Okay, so as you keep adding clay, keep adding materials, formal elements of films, a film will be made, a film will be shaped, a film will be structured. Okay, so all the formal elements of films are content. Okay, so content develops the form. Okay, as you keep writing a poem, your words, your thoughts, they will be content. And gradually you will see that you have written the poem, your poem is complete. Fine? So form and content, they go hand in hand. They run parallel to each other. Am I clear, students? Any doubts? No? If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask. It's 10:20. I'm going to end the class. Okay, so what I will do in the next class, I will give you some questions on form and content and narrative structure of the film. So let's see how well you have understood. And hopefully by over the weekend, I will upload the materials, okay, the notes. When we will be having the OE exam? The date hasn't been, I will stop recording. So